Have you ever wondered what happens when you plug in the wrong power adapter into a delicate piece of technology? Well, I found out the hard way, and now I'm going to take you on a journey to figure out how to fix what I broke. These are little HP thin clients that I have, and these are my last two of this type. But what happened here is that I accidentally plugged in a 19 volt AC adapter into this working one, and that seems to have blown up something because these normally run with 12 volts, and I just simply plugged it in, and then I quickly realized, oh no. And as soon as I plugged in the 12 volt one, yep, no power, nothing happens. However, this motherboard came from another one which does power up, but it shows no output on the screen. But I'm using the fact that I have this working from a power perspective to see if I can tell what component failed on this side. All right, so my initial hunch is that this diode right here probably failed in some way. I was able to look online that sometimes these diodes are placed across the positive and negative leads of the input circuitry to protect against inverse polarity, and that's something that happens often with these type of barrel plugs, because some barrel plugs they have the positive in the outside and the negative in the inside, whereas the vast majority of them have the positive in the inside and the negative in the outside. However, here it may also be doing some kind of voltage protection. So, all right, so this is the good working board in terms of power. So this one is the board that currently gets power. So what I've been able to tell so far is that there's this small capacitor right here and this diode connected right to the input leads. This is the positive right here. I'm touching that in the socket, and then this is the negative. Right now there is no short on this one. So if I go across the board here, there is no short. I have the multimeter in continuity mode. So if I now start to see whether how these things are wired together, then I can go here to the positive, and I can tell right away that positive is going to the top of this capacitor, and it's also going to this side of the diode. Okay, so there's the positive lead connected straight to this cap, and then the positive lead connected straight to this side of the diode. Now on this side this is the negative side, so there's no short, but I heard a little beep, so that indicates that the diode probably is tied on the other side over here. So if I go from negative now on this side, yep, so as you can see here, the other side of the diode is on the negative side, and I also suspect that the capacitor is across the there you go, the other side of that capacitor is also on the, all right, that's great. So we have this cap and this diode. Let me show you what the schematic looks like for those two. Okay, so this is the schematic that I was able to figure out from just those little tests. Right now, this is the polarity that is coming in, positive and negative, and there's a capacitor and a diode. And this is how the diode is currently configured. So if you put positive and negative voltage right here, the current will flow that way. But if you somehow manage to flip this polarity, what would happen is if this becomes positive and that becomes negative, then the current will want to flow through the diode back instead of hurting anything else. So that's the protection that this diode provides here. The current would spike through the diode, burning it out, and that's what would happen if you were to change the polarities. Now, I'm not sure why 19 volts did that unless I plugged in something with the wrong polarity, but I think it might also have burnt out because because it wasn't rated for that voltage or something. I'm not 100% sure, but something there blew up. So that's what I'm seeing so far. On the broken board, this diode is completely shorted out. All right, so here's what I ended up doing with the bad board. I got my soldering iron and I lifted up that side of that diode, and it looks ugly because it took me a lot of flux to get it out. The old solder there was really stubborn, but I lifted it out. Let me see if I can show you that in the camera a little bit better. You can see there that it's slightly lifted off the board, and now the short is gone. So I'm going to try something that I hope doesn't cause any more damage, and that is I'm going to plug in the 12 volt adapter, the correct one, and see if I get any output. All right, so let me switch things up here and give that a try. All right, so here we're back, and I put the motherboard back into the chassis here because I wanted to put the heatsink back on the CPU, and the screws for the CPU heatsink, they go into stands on the chassis. So, and I also plugged in a monitor here, just in case this does work. I'm gonna see if it actually outputs anything to the screen. So I'm gonna get my 12 volt supply, the correct one this time, and with the diode lifted off the board, I'm gonna see what happens. Hopefully nothing starts smoking. So let me see here. I'm gonna put this in there. Okay. No smoke. That's good. Now I'm gonna get down here. I'm gonna press the power button and see what happens. All right, that's a good sign. And there you go. It's up and running again. So that little diode did its thing. It protected the rest of the computer from the high voltage, and just lifting it off the board fixed the problem. So that's awesome. Hopefully it doesn't cause some components here to heat up. Hopefully nothing there is like getting overpowered. I think that was just a protection diode. But so you can see here, computer's running. So now I get to put it back together. Okay, here's the final product, and it's booting Windows XP. Now, I do not recommend doing this kind of change to the power circuitry on any computer. The only reason that I'm doing this in this video is to show that sometimes it's just a small little thing that, and that's the Windows XP sound. But the only reason that I'm doing this video is to show that sometimes it's a small little component that causes the issue. And it's worth, if you know what you're doing, to go in there and take a look. However, the right fix here is to replace the defective part. What I did right now is a shortcut, and I am going to put a reminder for myself here using a little label printer that I have, so that I don't plug in the wrong voltage into this again. But again, this is not a proper fix. The proper fix is to replace the defective diode with one that you know is identical to the one that is rated at, and that would be the correct fix. This right now is just a shortcut. This is a personal machine, and if I plug in the wrong adapter in there again, I will probably damage some other circuitry that is not going to be easy to repair at all. And I understand that. I'm taking that responsibility on my own. But again, I just wanted to show that just that small little diode can bring the entire computer down if you plug in the wrong adapter. So yeah, lesson is, don't plug in the wrong adapter. And if you do have to do the fix, do it the right way by getting the correct diode or the correct part and replacing it. So yeah, and maybe in the next video, I'll try to fix this one. I think this is a recapping situation here, but you know, you never know. For now, if you like this kind of stuff, let me know in the comments below what you liked about this video, what you'd like to see in future videos, and if you liked the video, hit thumbs up and share it. All right, till next time, thank you so much.